Everyone rushes to board a plane like it actually matters. It doesn't. In fact, it's one of the biggest mistakes you can make when flying. You're standing there in a long line, stressing yourself out for a seat that's already assigned to you. But here's what most people don't realize. Air travel isn't random. There's a system behind everything. And once you understand it, you start flying completely differently. So today, I'm breaking down what's really going on and how to stop making the same mistakes almost every passenger makes. If you want more travel tips like this, hit subscribe. 1. Why you should always board last. Your seat isn't going anywhere, but your next 45 minutes absolutely are. And most people are choosing to waste them standing in a cattle chute. But here's why boarding last is actually the smarter move. When you have a pre-assigned seat, nobody can take it, so there's zero reason to stand in that crowded, slow-moving line. Instead, grab a coffee, sit comfortably at the gate, and let the chaos clear out. By the time you board, the aisle is wide open. Overhead bins near your seat still have space for your small bag, and you settle in within minutes. No waiting, no stress, just efficiency. Boarding last means less time trapped in a metal tube and more time living your best airport life. Try it once. You'll never go back. 2. The data ghost and the logistical override. Let's deconstruct your boarding pass. Most people treat it like a temporary receipt. You land, you crumple it up, and you toss it in a public terminal trash can. That piece of paper holds a 6-digit alphanumeric code called the Passenger Name Record, or PNR. In the wrong hands, this is a highly volatile data ghost. It is a skeleton key to your credit cards, your passport data, your date of birth, and your entire digital footprint. Destroy it. Always. And if you ever see the letters SSSS printed on that pass, your data profile has triggered an algorithmic tripwire. You have been flagged for secondary security screening. Buying a one-way ticket in cash or booking at the last minute breaks expected behavioral patterns, and the system instantly treats you as a potential kinetic threat. Speaking of boarding, stop lining up. Boarding last is a logistical override. By refusing to join the mob, you completely bypass the collective anxiety of the crowd. Your seat is a guaranteed spatial asset. Let the amateurs fight over the carpet. Drop your best travel tip in the comments to help other travelers. 3. The kinetic and atmospheric threat matrix. We need to discuss the kinetic threats outside the airframe. An aircraft is a massive piece of machinery weighing upwards of 175,000 pounds, hurtling through the atmosphere. Yet it is highly vulnerable to organic projectiles. Bird strikes are not rare. They are a constant, violent logistical reality. Airports are forced to deploy aggressive acoustic and biological countermeasures. They aren't just putting up fences, they are firing sonic cannons and utilizing engineered predators to secure the airspace from avian interference. And when the weather turns, you are flying inside a highly conductive metal tube. You fear lightning, but the aircraft is a meticulously engineered Faraday cage. Every commercial jet is struck by lightning annually. The electrical current is structurally forced to travel harmlessly across the exterior skin and discharge through the wingtips. The real kinetic threat is the blunt force trauma of extreme high-altitude hail, which is capable of shattering the acrylic windshields and blinding the pilots. 4. Biological attrition and acoustic warfare. Now let's look at the biological assault happening inside the cabin. You complain that airplane food is notoriously awful, and you blame the catering facilities. You are blaming the wrong variable. At 35,000 feet, the cabin humidity plummets below 10%. That is fundamentally drier than the Sahara Desert. Your sinuses rapidly dehydrate, completely shutting down your olfactory receptors. Simultaneously, you are subjected to extreme acoustic warfare. The low-frequency drone of the engines actively suppresses your tongue's ability to register sweet and salty profiles by up to 30%. To counteract this biological attrition, airlines pump the food full of catastrophic levels of sodium and sugar. You want to fix the flavor? Execute an acoustic block. Put on noise-canceling headphones before you eat. Silencing the engine drone biologically reboots your taste buds. 5. The psychological fail-safes. Notice how the captain and the co-pilot never eat the same meal. This is a strict biological fail-safe. In many airlines, there is a rigid hierarchy. The captain eats from the first-class menu. The co-pilot eats from business class. This mathematically prevents mutual food poisoning. If one meal is contaminated and a pilot becomes biologically incapacitated, the other retains cognitive and physical control of the aircraft. But biological threats are secondary to psychological ones. A cockpit is an incredibly confined, high-stakes tactical space. If two pilots despise each other, That emotional friction can cause fatal communication breakdowns during critical descent phases. This is why modern aviation utilizes a do-not-pair protocol. Pilots submit a roster of nemesis to the scheduling algorithm. The system physically prevents them from sharing a flight. Aviation safety relies just as much on psychological isolation as it does on mechanical perfection. 6. The spatial geometry of survival. You probably think the safest seat on the plane is the aisle seat in first class. You are statistically completely wrong. If the airframe suffers a catastrophic kinetic event, survival is purely a matter of spatial geometry. Decades of raw crash data prove that the absolute safest position is the middle seat in the rear third of the aircraft. The tail section historically absorbs the least amount of kinetic transfer during a crash landing, offering a 72% survival rate. The front of the plane is a crumple zone. The middle aisle is a high-velocity debris corridor. Embrace the back of the aircraft. 7. Encrypted cabin architecture. Look at the window next to you. You will see a tiny hole drilled into the bottom of the acrylic glass. That is not a defect. That is a pressure equalization valve, or bleed hole. Without it, the extreme atmospheric variance between the pressurized cabin and the lethal, unbreathable environment outside would shatter the panels. And look slightly above that window. If you see a black or red triangle on the cabin wall, you are sitting in a visual tactical outpost. That marker indicates the exact optimal sightline for the crew to inspect the wings and engines for structural anomalies. Stop ignoring the chimes you hear in the cabin. They are not elevator music. They are an encrypted auditory code. One chime is a standard operational shift. 2 consecutive chimes alert the crew that the airframe is crossing the critical 10,000-foot threshold. 3 or more chimes? That is an extreme emergency protocol, signaling a severe kinetic threat. And if you ever need to access an occupied lavatory in an emergency, do not panic. Every lavatory has an external mechanical override. Lift the metal sign on the door, slide the hidden latch, and you instantly breach the lock. 8. Architectural voids and the ultimate expiration. Do not be manipulated by the illusion of first class. The gap between business and first class is a financial algorithmic scam. You are paying up to 6 times the economy fare for a marginally wider seat. Business class already offers flatbed geometry and acoustic isolation. Keep your capital, and while you sleep, know that the crew vanishes into a secret architectural void. Directly above or below the passenger cabin are heavily concealed rest compartments. Pilot fatigue is a massive kinetic liability. These hidden bunks, accessible only by secure keypads, are the airline's mandatory biological recharge stations to keep the crew from blacking out at the controls. Finally, we must address the ultimate biological expiration. People die at 35,000 feet. When a passenger's biological systems fail mid-flight, the crew executes a chilling logistical protocol. You cannot simply land a heavy aircraft immediately over an ocean. The body is often quietly secured in an empty row, strapped in, and covered with a blanket to maintain order. But on ultra-long-haul routes, advanced airframes are engineered with specialized, dedicated containment lockers specifically designed to hold a human corpse for up to 18 hours. It is the grim, unspoken reality of transporting humanity across the globe. Travel is not meant to be an exercise in blind endurance. It is a system. And once you understand the hidden mechanics behind the machine, you are no longer just a passenger, you are a strategist. Tell me in the comments below the most shocking flight secret you have ever witnessed, and subscribe for more travel tips like this. Safe travels. Fly smarter, not harder.